Hey everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to give you our final picks and final bets for UFC Fight Night, Aspinall versus Tybura. Obviously Monday we gave you the full breakdowns. If you're looking for detailed breakdowns, go back and watch that video. But this is going to be rapid fire final picks. Let's get right into it. Like and subscribe as always, and let's go. First fight of the night, we got Filho versus Daniel Barez. I think we both, the first video chose Filo, but we both said we've got to watch more tape. I've done the due diligence. I'm actually flipping to Daniel Barez. I think a conservative pick here is going to be over 1.5. I think Filo's excels in the scrambles, but I don't think he's going to have the better wrestling. I don't think he's really going to have the better striking. He's actually susceptible to getting finished himself. So I'm going to take Daniel Barez actually here. Over 1.5, he might find a submission, might find a finish, but I'll take over 1.5 or Daniel Barez if you want a winner. What do you got?
Yeah, I kind of flipped on Perez too, but that was more like looking at the way Mokaev went against Filo in that last fight and how the wrestling was like the big turning point. Because Mokaev was what, a minus 700 in that fight? Didn't really look like it was minus 700 or 800 in that fight. But Filo's tough, right? So but this is at what's this at flyweight? Right. So that's another reason I like the 1.5 over the 1.5. A lot of flyweight fights make it to that 1.5 mark. So that minus 230 on a 1.5 ain't so bad. So you're not gonna get a fucking knockout right away. It's just a submission, like you said. Filo looked pretty good until the last round of the last fight, and then he gave up that submission to Mokaev. So yeah, I like that. Fight goes to distance, minus 105 isn't that bad either. So I mean, all the overs in this seem pretty juicy. So that's where I stand on this fight as well.
I just want to throw it out there. I think if you're on the Jafel Filo side, which is fine, like he is a pretty dangerous scrambler. I think if you're on his side, you take by submission because I think the only way he's going to win is if he snatches a submission. Otherwise, I think he's going to get out muscled and beaten everywhere else. So his only chance is a submission here, in my opinion. But we'll see how it plays out.
No, you're right. You're
Moving
right.
on.
You can
Yeah,
get
moving on.
controlled
Yeah,
big time.
yeah, absolutely. Moving on, we got Bruna Brazil versus Shauna Bannon. This fight just doesn't feel safe to me. I think if you want a safe pick, I would say over 1.5. I don't think anyone's going to get starched super quick. Brazil technically would have the more finishing upside if you look at her record, but I don't think she's just going to walk over and start Shauna Bannon quickly. So I think 1.5 was pretty safe. I am not a Bruna Brazil fan. I think she looked so bad last fight. So for the sake of picking a winner, I'm going to just call the upset on Shauna Bannon. But full disclosure, don't bankroll this fight. Don't take my pick as let's go bet Shauna Bannon. I'm going to take Bannon to win a close fight, but she doesn't really do a whole lot. I don't like her hands. She's going to throw kicks. Give me the over 1.5 for a bet. If you're looking for a bet over 1.5, what do you think?
Yeah, the over 1.5 is juiced to minus 450 though, but it's safe. It's safe. Nonetheless, I believe it's safe. I like Bruna here. I just think it's a get right spot because she was supposed to win that last fight, right? And I'm pretty sure that they were pretty mad that she didn't. So they gave her this Bannon chick. I didn't see anything special. She's Irish, makes her tough. But yeah, I mean, skill for skill. If Bruna Brazil actually comes out skill for skill, and she should beat her ass. I mean, money's coming on Bruna, and I think it's a get right spot.
I watched a lot of tape actually today on Shauna Bannon because I was looking to fade Brazil because, like I said, I'm not a fan of hers. But Shauna Bannon had two red flags to me. Number one, when she did get taken down and was on the bottom, she doesn't really try to get up. Like there was no panic, no urgency. She accepted bottom position,
Gross.
and that irks me. Like she accepted it. She was doing nothing. And then number two, for a striker, she doesn't really have good hands. She throws a lot of kicks, but it's like maybe that worked to get you decisions in that lower shit. But so by no means, I don't like Shauna Bannon. Brazil looks kind of wonky to me. She looks awkward. So I don't like either of them. That's just me.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I mean, I think it's just the UFC trying to set her up for a win. So I'm doing it on the narrative more than the actual. I do think she's more skilled in the grappling and the striking, to be honest with you. But
All right,
I'm
moving,
not
move.
bankrolling her by any means, bro.
No. Low level women's fight. Do not go crazy.
No.
These bust all the time. Don't go crazy. Moving on, we got Chris Duncan versus Yanal Ashmouz. This is a pretty even line. Ashmouz is still the underdog, and I still like him to win this fight. Chris Duncan gets rocked all the time. Now you can look at that two ways. Either he's durable because he's not getting finished, or he's chinny because he's always getting rocked. So I'm gonna go with he's always getting rocked, and Yanal hits hard. So give me Yanal to win this fight as an underdog. If you're picking him, maybe you go by knockout for more value, but he's already plus money. So just give me Yanal as the underdog. Maybe Duncan can grind him, maybe, but you know what? Duncan gets hit too much for my liking, so I'm gonna take Yanal to crack him. That's what I think. What do you think?
Well, Duncan's a grinder. Like that's how he wins his fights. He gets the little bit of tipsy there in the first round by the striker, and he somehow powers through it, right? And he did that against Borshev. I'm pretty sure he won. I'm almost positive he won that first round against Borshev, but then Borshev came back and showed that he's the better striker. And I feel like the same thing here. But honestly, I don't even think it gets to round two. I mean, like Duncan shows no urgency in that first round, and Yanel's all in that first round. I mean, you can run the whole cardio thing, and Yanel could gas if he comes out really hard because he came out really hard against Patterson the last fight, right? But you know what? The line is widening, and I still like the underdog here because it's 50-50, and the wider it gets is the better for me. So I'm putting in a fucking single on fucking Ashmouz. Nothing huge, but a dog shot is coming.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. We got Ketlen Vieira versus Pani Kianzad. Pani should be the more technical striker, but I do like Ketlen just to be a little bit bigger and bully her. Honestly, truly a 50-50 fight. Like there is no way I would be parlaying this fight because it could go either way. And you know what? The value is on the Pani side. If it was 100% a kickboxing fight at range, I would take Pani, but I just think Ketlen's plodding forward zombie fucking style will be able to bully her against the cage a little bit and just be the bigger physical girl. I think if you want a conservative pick over 1.5, it wouldn't shock me over 2.5 or fight goes the distance. I like all of those plays. For the purpose of picking a winner, give me Ketlen Vieira by decision, but I like the over. I like the over here. What do you think?
A lot of money coming in on Pani, to be honest with you. She started when we did that first cast, it was about 180, plus 180. Now it's plus 130. Kind of always scares me when the fucking favorite kind of like gets pushed into like more like 50-50 status. I still like Pani, but I think the over 2.5 is your best bet here. Minus 390. Even go to distance minus 340. I mean, it's juice to shit, but I don't know. You can play both these girls at decisions and you'll get plus money on both and make a little bit. So the only thing is if they fucking finish each other, but I don't see that happening. So plus 120, plus 190, play them both. They'll go to decision, win a little bit. Depends on how you want to do things.
All right, moving on. We got Brian Barberena versus Makhmud Muradov. This line's juiced to shit. I do like Muradov to get the win. Most likely to finish, to be honest. I mean, Barberena's just so one-dimensional, so he shouldn't be winning fights in the UFC anymore. Like, the book is out. He's easy to take down. He's easy to submit. He's like the only way you lose this fight is if you gas and you let him overwhelm you. So, I mean, sure, I guess he's always going to have a puncher's chance or a volume chance or whatever. But honestly, I think Brian's he should be in more like a legend fight or whatever, more like old veterans kind of fighting. Like this fight just seems kind of unnecessary to me. Give me Muradov to get it done, probably by finish, but the line's so juicy, I don't even think I'm playing it. What do you think?
Well, this guy has been finished in his last 2 fights on the ground there, bam, bam. So he's very susceptible to being finished. Muradov, though, that one fight against Mearshart, I believe it was, when when he kind of gassed out in that second round, that's kind of like, that one there kind of hurt me too. So the two fights against Sanchez and Trevor Smith, he finished in the third round. So I never really thought he had a cardio issue. But against Mearshart, he did empty the tank in that first round. Couldn't get him out. But Mearshart is a vet, and he pulls shit out of his ass all the time like that, right? So, line's juiced. If you want to take a prop on this one, plus 135 KO inside the distance there, that's about it. Maybe the under. The under is nice. Minus 130. Fight doesn't go to decision. That's pretty nice. I don't see this fight going to decision, to be honest with you. So I think Barberena gets submitted.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I always think, for
or
sure.
pounded out on the ground, but submitted. I think submitted. Muradov's not a big submission guy, but Barberena has no fucking ground defense for the life of him. So,
and he shockingly taps pretty quick too. It's like, all right, I know this isn't my world, and he just taps.
he fucked me on that Gunnar Nelson fight, right? So you know what? He's been like notoriously durable to the point where I at least thought he would get Gunnar Nelson into that second fucking round, and then he taps, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, buddy?" Like, I believe it was the last 10 seconds of that round. I'm just looking it up now, but that kind of hurt me because I would have won a 10 out of 10 on that guy. So, yeah, it was 451, bro. 451 in the first round. He tapped with 9 seconds left. I would have got a 10 out of 10. And he cost me that.
I had Nelson by submission. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I know it was obvious, but I was getting Nelson by submission was like minus whatever. And then I was getting the same amount for the fight to just make it to round 2. I thought this idiot would make it to round 2, but like he tapped pretty easily as soon as it was locked in. So who knows?
All right. Moving on, we got Michael Parkin versus Jamal Pogues. I'm not even playing this fight, to be honest. You're either going with the undefeated Parkin to probably score a knockout, or you're going with Pogues to grind him with his wrestling. It's going to go one way or the other. Parkin, fighting out of the UK, probably doesn't really have much wrestling, you'd assume, but you really don't know. I don't love Pogues. I don't love Parkin. This fight's out of every single fight on this card, I think I'm going to probably play something small in all of them. I'm not so sure I'm playing this at all. I'll root for Parkin because I don't want to root for a wrestler. I don't want to root for a grinder, but it would not shock me at all for Pogues to grind this out. What do you think?
Pogues is a grinder, right? Big time. So I like the over 1.5 at minus 230. I mean, Pogues should try to not, the way he fights is like not engaging in the pocket and staying safe and then just shooting for takedowns. And I feel like he could do it for 7 minutes and then me not care what happens at the end of the fight, right? So minus 230. I know they're heavyweights, but a round and a half isn't that bad with the way Pogues fights, right? As for a winner, I don't know. Fucking shoot me. I don't know.
Don't care.
I don't actually. I'm not betting the fight. I'm not gonna like fuck with the viewers or anything like that. I'm not gonna give them a pick. I'm not betting this fight. I am taking 1.5 over 1.5 though. I will be doing that.
And sometimes, full disclosure, guys, you got to know, sometimes the best play is to pass. Don't always pick a winner. Like, if you're not sure, don't bet it. So sometimes the best play is to pass. Moving on, we got Mark Diakiese versus Joel Alvarez. Nothing's flipped for me. I still got Alvarez. I hit him early at minus 140. He's now a minus 200. So I think everybody kind of saw what I initially spotted out. Like, this guy's been in there with the better fighters. He's got tons of experience. So Diakiese's only way to win is most likely to grind him out. And Diakiese doesn't really do anything. So he's a wrestle puncher who doesn't punch a whole lot. So give me Alvarez via everything. Just more savvy, more experience. I'm hoping he doesn't let me down here, but I got Alvarez. What do you think?
I got Alvarez too. I think he's a better scrambler. He's a better finisher. I feel like he's a longer fighter with the better striking. He may not have the better wrestling, but like D1 Diakiese came out for a couple fights, and then where was that before? It was just like low volume. He was supposed to be some power puncher. He never lived up to expectations. He lost to Michael fucking Johnson.
Looked terrible against Michael Johnson. Terrible.
Lost to Rafael Alves. Lost to Fiziev. Not a bad look, I guess. But at the end of the day, I feel like Joel Alvarez would have put up a better fight against Fiziev. than fucking Mark Diakiese ever put up against Fiziev. And that's not MMA math. That is just putting two fighters up against each other and saying, what would this guy have done against this guy? What would this guy have done against this guy? Right? So this guy just fought Michael Johnson. What kind of favorite would have Alvarez been over Michael Johnson? I know Michael Johnson gets disrespected all the time.
Yeah.
But Alvarez still would have been a small favorite over him too, right? At least in my eyes. So Alvarez has shown the propensity to win. He beat Thiago Moises. That's better than anything Mike Diakiese's ever done in his entire fucking career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, minus 200 might be too much juice now, but like inside the distance is minus 120. That's too much juice now. You were talking about over 1.5 for this fight. I know it's like nice at 135. I do like the fight doesn't go decision at minus 230. I feel that Alvarez is going to finish this fight. I really do. Something it tells me Alvarez finishes this fight.
I hope he does. Mark Diakiese, I find extremely boring. Moving on, we got Danny Roberts versus Johnny Parsons. This is another one of the few fights on here that I'm not too confident in, mostly because I don't know a whole lot about Johnny Parsons. I saw him on the Contender Series, but I've seen Roberts in with the better fighters. Sure, he lost, but he's been in there with that level. So I'm not sure how this is going to translate. Give me Roberts, but I don't think it's a fight I'm betting. Maybe, I was going to say over 1.5, but even it's just a fight with too many variables for me. I'm not going to bet this fight, but give me Danny Roberts via better experience. Been in there with the better fighters. What do you think?
Yeah, we did beat Ramazan Emeev, right? And he did beat Imadaev. That's probably better than anything fucking Johnny Parsons has ever put out in his career. I mean, I watched that fight against Solomon Renfro. It was a split decision. And to be honest with you, you should have fucking probably won that a lot more cleaner than he did. And to be frank with you, he's a debutante. And we're getting pick 'em odds with a guy that's been in there with a hell of a lot of better guys. Close fight with Ronaldo. Madalena's a beast, right? So even that close fight with Ronaldo, that's a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? He stayed in there with a vet. And we all know Ronaldo knows how to fucking win fights, even at the ripe age of 40 gazillion years old. He still knows how to win. He's still tough out, right? And he went in there and he beat Danny Roberts. And Danny Roberts was favored in that. I'm pretty sure Danny Roberts was favored in that fight. So yeah, I mean, I'm actually gonna play Roberts, probably single bet him. I pick him odds. I like it. I'm not gonna fuck around with it too much. I might add a round prop from another fight that I'd be very confident on. But yeah, I like minus 110, especially for a guy that against Parsons that's never fought in the fucking UFC.
All right, fair enough. Next up, we got a pretty fun fight. We got Davey Grant versus Daniel Marcos. If you've been watching the videos forever, I've been a big Davey Grant fan. I've picked him in many fights. I've won a lot of money on him in fights. But there's red flags here. He's literally used the word retirement. He bought a restaurant. He's running a restaurant. People are saying he's not training. His head's not there anymore. And then you also look at his last fight with Rafael Assunção. He was losing that whole fight. Every bit of that fight he was losing until that inverted triangle. I think Daniel Marcos is going to light him up on the feet. I think Davey Grant does have a submission grappling advantage here, but I'm not so sure that he's going to be able to use it. So give me Daniel Marcos to outstrike him. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but I think clear cut outstrikes him, beats him up on the feet. Give me Marcos. I have him in a couple plays here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I feel like Davey's a little bit low volume, to be honest with you. And like he was getting by on some power there, you know what I mean? It sucks because I think he's like a nice guy and I feel like he is a good fighter. But I feel like it's role reversal here. And Marcos is the guy on the way up and Davey's the guy on the way out. So I feel like this is a passing of the torch fight. Marcos looked pretty good in his last fight, to be honest with you. So yeah, passing of the torch. Now the finish is a tough one, right? So this guy's been in there with Adrian Yanez and didn't get finished. Marlon Vera, And so like he's been in there with some good guys, man, and they didn't put him away. And I know Marcos is a young cat, and I know he's gonna come hard. But Davey has lost 4 times by submission, though. So if Marcos is smart, he'll go and try to get him on the ground. But Marcos has 8 KOs and 6 decisions, so doesn't look like he takes it to the submission realm very often, right? So yeah. David Grant is not getting knocked out by a knee to the body like he did against Simon Oliveira. So I just think he's gonna outvolley him, man. What's that decision prop on that? Let's find out, because that's what I'm going to take. Plus 200. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, David Grant's a tough guy, and Marcos is a young, hungry, undefeated striker. So, yeah, I could see a 3-round clear-cut outpoint beating him up. All right, moving on. We got Lerone Murphy versus Joshua Cullibao. The whole world's on Lerone Murphy here, and I don't like Lerone Murphy. I think he's low output, overrated. I didn't like his last fight. I don't like any of his fights, really, to be honest. That being said, I'm not so sure Cullibao is going to be able to tap him out. I'm not so sure Cullibao is going to be able to knock him out or outpoint him. I think Murphy probably grinds out a boring decision where he does not look good once again. I will not be betting a winner in this fight. For me, the pick is over 1.5, over 2.5, possibly goes the distance. I think those are your 3 plays. I think over 1.5 is safe as hell. I think over 2.5 is most likely very safe as well. I like the overs. Plain and simple, I like the overs. What do you think?
I think Lerone Murphy is going to win here because this is going to decision, and we're in the UK. So that's my take on that. That's it. I got it. I got your overs. My take is Lerone Murphy wins a close decision because UK judges are crooked as fuck.
And another unimpressive, uninspiring victory?
Another uninspiring victory because he fucking stole a victory from Santos the last time, I think. So anyway, whatever. I think he wins, but I don't think he wins on his own merit.
All right, moving on. We got Jai Herbert versus Vieira Vs Ziam. Tough fight to predict here. I think we're on opposite sides. I like Herbert. I hope Herbert knocks him out. I really do. I just think Ziam is going to be the more well-rounded fighter, and I don't think Herbert has very good takedown defense. I know he was able to stuff the takedowns of was it Ludovic Klein or something last fight?
It was Ludovic Klein, yeah.
But he still, if you look back at his previous fights, he does not have great takedown defense. I'm not saying Ziam's a great wrestler, so this is a toss-up fight. I'm going to take Ziam by just being more well-rounded, but hey, Herbert might put his lights out. I don't blame anyone for playing either side. I'm rooting for Herbert, but my pick is going to be Ziam. What do you think?
I'm going to pick Herbert because we're in the UK again. I'm all about the UK fighters in the UK, man. Anyway, I feel like Vieira Ziam's biggest red flag on his entire career is losing to Terrence McKinney. It's a bad loss, bud. That's a bad loss. No, it is, man. Terrence
McKinney always has a chance. In the first minute or two, McKinney always has that chance in the first minute.
Yeah, but if you watch any tape, how the fuck do you even let him get anywhere close to you? Like, just tire him out. Do some fucking shit. Whatever. I'm going with Jai. I think he's a better striker. But yeah, he can get controlled on the ground. If Ziam wants to come in with a big wrestle heavy plan, he's going to win this fight. I'm not as high on Jai Herbert as I am on Ashmouz, but as an underdog, but the line's widening and I don't see why. There's a ton of money coming in. Like this was a pick'em and now it's minus 160. That's fucking gross. Ziam's not worth minus 160. 160. Not a chance, but that's just me.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough. All right, moving on. We got a fun, unpredictable fight for me. We got Andre Muniz versus Paul Craig. Earlier in the week, I was very confident on Muniz. I'm starting to get cold feet, to be honest. I don't know, man. He gassed out so hard last fight. He had what the hell was that guy's name? He had Uriah Hall's back for 3 full rounds, didn't tap him out. I mean, Paul Craig is completely untrustworthy as well. Terrible striking, opportunistic submission specialist, and on paper, he shouldn't tap Muniz. And we don't know what he's going to look like dropping down in weight to 185. So there's just so many variables here. For me, Muniz is a minus 225. I don't love minus 225. The fight not to go the distance is minus 285. So that if I'm playing this fight, that's going to be my take. I just think Paul Craig fights don't go the distance. He either catches you or he gets finished. So I'd rather have both sides covered. I like the doesn't go the distance for minus 285. And I don't have a clear confident winner here. What do you think?
I don't have a clear confident winner, but I don't think Paul Craig's got the wrestling to get this shit done. He always wins in some fucking exotic way because the other guy is so dumb, wants to put him in his guard or some shit like that. I was kind of looking at the over 1.5 at minus 125. That's kind of juicy because these guys could scramble, go back and forth for a little while. It's going to be somebody getting something caught. My thing is, I think Muniz is able to control Paul Craig more than Paul Craig is going to be able to control Andre Muniz. For a simple fact that Muniz is the bigger guy, right? So, I mean, sorry. I just feel like Paul Craig's a bigger guy, so he'll gas a little bit faster. So, that's just my take on it. But like, not a big fight on my card. I'm going to play Muniz in a YOLO, but that's because I don't respect Paul Craig.
I hear you 100%. And Muniz has the clear-cut wrestling advantage, period.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We got Nathaniel Wood versus Andre Fili. I'm getting cold feet on this fight as well. I said earlier on Monday, make your UK parlays. And I still feel like, there's a lot of UK fighters that are going to win here, especially the co-main and the main as we get to those. This fight, I'm not sure I'm loving Wood. I think he's like a minus 220 right now. Like, my whole thing is Andre Fili, extremely inconsistent. Like, if he doesn't come in at his best, Nathaniel Wood's going to pick him apart and win a decision or win a long, drawn-out fight. So for that reason, I do like the over. But Andre Fili, at his best, is a good striker. He is a good fighter. Like, he's had some very good performances. So I'm not sure who I'm getting here. I like the over 1.5. I probably like the over 2.5. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out fight. That's what I see here. And I just don't love the minus 220 or whatever Wood's sitting at. So for those reasons, I'm probably passing, but I like the overs. What do you think?
I don't like the minus 220, but I like Wood. So I like the decision prop plus 110 because plus 110 from the minus 220. That's pretty good. Do you really see Wood knocking him out? No. Do you see Wood controlling him? Yes. Does he have the better striking? Probably. Does he have the better ground game? I think the better grappling. I'm not too sure about the wrestling. Fucking Fili's still alpha male. You can never count those guys out, right? So, but Wood has shown that he also has that ground wrestling game as well. So he's more well-rounded. The overs are all in play. They're all juiced to tits. So you can take the over. You can take the fight goes to distance minus 200, and you're pretty much getting what Wood's going to be anyway without getting a winner. So, I mean, if you like Fili plus 180 ain't so bad, but I'm on Wood.
Yeah, I think maybe the decision prop. I mean, I don't think either are huge killers that are super dangerous finishers.
No.
So I like the overs. Moving on, we got Molly McCann versus Julija Stoliarenko. I'm an idiot. I smashed McCann early in the week when she was like minus 350. I think she's sitting at minus 220 now. So a lot of money has obviously come in on Julija. I still like McCann to get it done. I absolutely do. We all know that Stoliarenko is an armbar specialist. Is she going to catch Molly in one? Maybe, but I don't think so. I think, and the other thing is, a lot of people are saying this fight might not even happen. A lot of people are saying Julija's never made this weight. She's going down in weight. The last time she tried to make this weight, she fainted.
That's true. That's true. That happened.
She fainted on the scales, and the fight got pulled. So everyone's saying, we don't know what she's going to look like. We don't know if she's going to make weight. They're saying there's rumors that this fight might not happen. We don't know if she's going to have any gas. Everything just appears to be in Molly's favor here to maybe even score a knockout. I'm not betting any props, whatever. I parlayed her early in the week. Like I said, I should have waited. I still got Molly here. I don't think she would have left retirement if it wasn't a very, very confident fight for her. So I think she's going to beat her up with her hands and avoid the submission. That's what I see. What do you think?
Molly McCann is an idiot as a human being. She acts like an absolute idiot in the octagon. Her and her butt buddy, Patty Pimblett, are fucking retard. No, I can't say that. They're not nice people. Like when she ran around with the belt after like she won that fight against Luana Carolina. Oh my god, it was very cringe. I almost puked out my lunch. Like she's not a good fighter, but this fight is set up for her to win. The fact that you know how you know she's not a good fighter is I told you earlier today is that Stoliarenko is a 1 in 5 UFC fighter and people are flooding money in on her. So like that's why we know that Molly's nobody has any faith in her. But you know, if she doesn't get caught in an armbar, she wins. So 90% of this fight is hers to lose. So minus 220 is actually better than 375 she was at. So I still think she wins, and this is all narrative. This is not skill. So
she's the better puncher, the better striker, and Jalija. And Jaleesia's only shown one trick. Like she's not a wrestling specialist. She's not like. And the funny thing is, Molly actually had an interview. I don't know if you've seen it on SureDog. I think it was today, this morning or yesterday, and she's swearing that she's going to score another spinning back elbow knockout here. She goes, "I'm going to knock her out again with a spinning back elbow. You wait and see."
Oh God.
Fucking Molly McCann. All right, moving on. We got the main event. We got Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. Nothing has flipped here for me, but I don't love Tom at minus 450. Tom is a finisher, so I think if he's going to win, he's going to win by finish. I saw a couple face-offs. Marcin is actually bigger than I thought. The size wasn't a huge difference, and Marcin looked, maybe I'm crazy, he had a shirt on, so I could be wrong, but he looked like leaner or in better shape than I've seen. So, I mean, I think if you're playing this fight, it's got to be Tom by finish because it's 5 rounds and he's a notorious finisher. Or if you're going Marcin, you're going Marcin over, like decision, because I don't think Marcin Tybura is going to finish Tom Aspinall. So as long as Tom doesn't gas or his leg is not seriously compromised, Tom Aspinall should roll here. He's a better striker, better submission grappler, bigger guy. Give me Tom Aspinall. What do you think?
I like him, but I don't like the minus 450. But I don't mind the minus 450. I can see why. He's got him beat everywhere. So, however you play Tom Aspinall is up to you. Because the inside the distance is still minus 325. What's the difference if you take a minus 450, right? So I don't feel like there's a big, huge difference there. So,
fuck, I didn't even realize it was still minus 325 for a finish.
Yeah, it's plus 1,000 for him to hit a decision. They ain't going to no decision. Fuck that. But yeah, I'm all over Tom. So whatever. I'm going to parlay all the UK fighters like an idiot because that's what I do. And I play narratives in these particular fights. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's what training's doing this week, buddy.
Hey, we said it in the last video. The last UK card went like 5-0, swept the board or something like that. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of UK spots here. I feel like this card is not the greatest card for parlays. I think there's a lot of singles here. I really like the Yanal single as an underdog. I think that's a great pick. Don't go parlay crazy. And if your parlays make it to the end, you might want to do what we did last week. Like last week, we had like thousands rolling on Holly Holm between the two of us if Holly Holm was going to win. But I remember I messaged you and I go, hey, all our parlays made it to the end. Let's hedge here. We both hedged. So we both got some money on that Mayra Buena Silva, I guess upset if you want to call it. Yeah. So if your parlay makes it to the end, you might want to look at hedging just to ensure that you are going to be up money. Because I mean, Aspinall minus 425, you make it all the way to him and lose it on that. But I mean, it shouldn't happen. But you might want to look at hedging if your parlays make it to the end. But play some singles. Don't go crazy here. Next pay-per-view looks great. What's your most confident pick? What are you thinking here?
Aspinall. Aspinall is my most confident pick, and that's so gross to say that. But to be honest with you, I'm pretty confident with. It's so weird. I'm pretty confident with Ashmouz, and I'm pretty confident with Danny Roberts. But that's just weird stuff. But whatever.
I feel pretty good about Marcos too.
All right, throw all those guys together. That's what I'm doing, boys.
I got a $50. Honestly, I'm not going big this card. Next card I'll probably throw 5 bills down or whatever. But this card I got a $50 parlay with Marcos, Alvarez, McCann, and Aspinall. Those are 4 fighters that I think should win, and $50 is paying like $290. So I was like, all right, whatever. But I think other than that, I'm gonna play a bunch of singles. I think I'm gonna go fight by fight by fight. Not looking to hit the jackpot here, just to slowly build, fight by fight. As always, like and subscribe. We're going to put up our chart with our full recap of all of our picks, and we'll see you soon.